us to a woman who, for decades, has told the stories of New Yorkers and provided a voice for communities often overlooked.
This business was a male-dominated business when I started 25 years ago. I remember I was the only woman going to the printer.
Imagine starting your own newspaper at a time when women in the newsroom were few and far between. Pat Stevenson did just that.
And I had two grandmothers that instilled in me that basically I can do anything I want to do.
Born in Georgia, Stevenson got an early lesson on the horrors of Jim Crow. Her family would later move to New York City, where she graduated from Andrew Jackson High School and attended Long Island University.
I did not know what I wanted to do. I had a couple of jobs in offices because I used to read the newspapers every day. One day I just decided, I want to work for a TV station.
She got a job as an assistant at NBC, then later moved to California, where stints in radio led her to advertising and marketing, and eventually back to New York City. After years of success, a fateful flight to Africa would change her life.
There was a storm, and we were falling, and people were screaming, and people were, it was bad. And I came back and found out I had a fear of flying, so that changed my career.
After that terrifying flight, she decided to start her own business, and Harlem Community Newspapers was born.
I chose at that time to start in Harlem because that's when Harlem became an empowerment zone. That was 25 years ago.
At that time, there were about 300 community newspapers in New York, but not one in Harlem. HCN filled a void then and now, serving not just Harlem, but also the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens. And despite the pandemic, Pat Stevenson remains excited about Harlem's future.
Just being in Harlem and experiencing all of the changes here and all the improvements in the community, has just been exciting to me.
Shirley Alacott, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome back to my Harlem Portrait, the show that wants to shed a light on the fundamental contribution of African Americans in the building of this country. We started with a recognition of a trailblazer, which is Pat Stevenson. She's here with us today, and she was recognized by ABC during Women's History Month for a contribution to the media sector and for her 25 years in business as a business leader and as a Black woman business leader. Welcome, Pat Stevenson.
Thank you, Maria.
And we have with us Princess Jenkins, who is the owner of the Brownstone in Harlem. And she has had a career in the fashion business, in the beauty business, and in many other sectors before founding what we will talk about specifically today, Women in the Black. Welcome to our show.
Thank you, Maria. Thanks for having me today. Looking forward to the discussion.
Very good. You started how did you discover your interest for the fashion industry?
Well, Maria, I was just one of those young people who like to dress different, look different, wear different, and I have my own style and my own personality, and I found a place for everything that I was doing in the fashion industry. I started early in the industry. I was about 16 years old. I had a great internship with a wonderful female designer named Vera Maxwell. I went on from there to study at FIT. And not long after graduating from college and doing a short stint in the garment center, I went on to open my first boutique in my early 20s. I stayed in retail for a number of years. And when I moved to Harlem, I decided I wanted to open a boutique here. And we created the Brownstone, which was Harlem's first African-American department store. And I've been here, Maria, for 22 fabulous years in Harlem.
Fantastic. I have two trailblazers here today. This is fantastic, wonderful. But you didn't just do fashion, you also did the beauty industry. And
Sure.
you have more than 95 music videos under your belt. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, I was a makeup artist during the height of the beginning of hip hop, and I worked for a company and did about close to 100 music videos. So I love that. I love being a makeup artist as well. I had my own cosmetic and skincare line at one point as well. Yeah, love that.
Fantastic. And then you, at a certain point, you transitioned to motivational speaking and training entrepreneurs. What made you do that?
Motivational speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, people were asking me to tell my story. I think the first time I told my story, I was talking to some kindergartners, and the young woman that was there at the time was from the Department of the Board of Ed, and she was like, "Listen, if you can get through to these 5-year-olds, I really want you to start working with these teenagers." So I got a contract with the New York City Board of Ed, and I talked to many different high schools across the city, and then I got an opportunity to actually teach entrepreneurship. And I went into that for any number of years and taught young people how to, you know, just start businesses and start thinking like business people and taking their ideas and bringing them forward and making them happen. So it was great doing it.
Fantastic. So Pat, when your career and Princess' career started merging and crossing each other, when did you meet and what kind of events you start doing together?
Well, actually, Princess and I met because at the time we were in the same building. We had the same landlord. I was at 1 West 125th Street and she was next door in a brownstone. So I decided during the holidays to pull all the businesses together to have a celebration. And that's how Princess and I met. You know, she's like, what is this woman trying to do over here, pulling us all together? Because I told her, I just believe that people should work together and do things together. So I'm always trying to pull people together. So that's how we first met.
Yeah.
And of course, I started shopping at the brownstone. Her husband had a barbershop downstairs. He started cutting my son's hair, and we've been, you know, close ever since.
And when was this? Which year was this, more or less?
This was about 22 years ago when she started.
Right.
Fantastic. So putting together people is something that, and especially women entrepreneurs, you do it every year. You have a meeting and an event every year where you bring together something like 200 to 300
Yes.
women entrepreneurs. Tell us a little bit of that, about that.
Well, you know, being a woman in business for so many years, one thing that I realized was that I have been successful in business because I've had help from other business people. You know, I didn't have the credit to go into a bank and get the money I needed. And so I truly have thrived and survived with the assistance of other business owners. As a matter of fact, 10 business owners in Harlem signed for me to get my first loan from Chase Manhattan Bank. Can you believe that? It took 10 signatures for me to get to give $125,000 loan. It wasn't even a lot of money. And I was a single mom when I started this. My son is 31 now. I've been in business 25 years, and I was struggling on my own to have a business and being a mom. And I just really understand the plight of women business owners. So, you know, when I started to sort of get on my feet a bit, you know, I just reached out and tried to help as many other women as I could, you know, just paying it forward. I guess that's what you can say. So I'm very happy to host, as you said, 200. Once we had up to 300 women a year, just to bring them together, to network, to learn about their businesses. And then I feature all of them in the newspapers to hopefully promote their businesses and advocate for the community to do business with them. So I've enjoyed that part of this venture.
This is a beautiful mission that you have, and you've always had it since I met you when I first moved to Harlem. So, and this brings us also to the main subject of today, which is women in the Black, because that's how you and Princess got together to create this company, this event. Tell me, Princess, because you were the one who started it some time ago, right?
Yes. So Women in the Black was started in 1998. And Maria, like, you know, most things that women get together to do is because it's necessary.
Yep.
I had so many friends that were, you know, small business owners, and we were attending a lot of general market events. And I sat down with them and I said, you know, there's nothing specific for African American women. And we kind of need to, you know, we have other issues, you know, we had just so many other things we were dealing with. One of them was getting the money we needed. Some of us had children and, you know, family and things like that, that we definitely didn't have an opportunity to discuss. So Women in the Black started in 1998. It started as a membership organization. I had about, I guess, about 15 or 25 members, and we would meet monthly and talk about issues and talk about buying together. We even created a loan fund. And through that loan fund, if you wanted to take a class or go back to school, we had the money that was necessary to help you pay for classes if you wanted to take classes. We also did a loan fund if you had a small business and you needed us to you know, pay to give you a short-term loan. So we did that 20 years ago. So bring it forward to today. Women in the Black became a nonprofit organization in 2001.
Wow.
And through that nonprofit organization, we have hosted the only conference in Harlem, the Who's the Boss Women's Business Conference, for over 22 years. We get 300 women annually. We get tons of support from local economic development organizations. We have colleges signed on with us like FIT. And we do the work necessary to get women the information they need from thought leaders, business leaders, entrepreneurs. We even had a pitch competition, Maria, where we've been able to give away thousands of dollars. Okay, so it's been a great opportunity for us to help women. So when Pat came to me this year and said, hey, you know, there's a great opportunity for us to work together, bam, I jumped on it. And then I'm gonna let Pat pick it up from there.
Go ahead, Pat.
Well, you know, as I said, Princess and I have been supporting each other. I have an event for women business owners and a newsletter. She had an event, and, you know, we attended each other's events. We supported each other. But, you know, during the pandemic, you know, something different happened. You know, businesses were closed, and we just basically started a communications network. You know, we were all wondering, okay, what are we going to do next? How are we going to get through this? And Princess and I just, I guess, created this bond of support, you know, and we started hearing about the grants and the loans, and we realized that they weren't coming our way. I mean, they were around us, you know, they were on the east side and the west side, and they weren't coming to us. So we both started advocating and talking to our politicians and our organizations, you know, why is this money out there and they're saying it's for small businesses and we're not getting any of it? And you know, we just stayed on that campaign and talked to other business women owners, and then we started looking for all the grants and all the loans, and we applied for all of them. And we were successful at getting some of them because we worked together. You know, Princess would get one, she said, okay, I got this one, you need to apply for it, and so forth and so on. And honestly, I must tell you, sometime I wanted to give up. And Princess would push me, no, you got to apply for everything. You have to apply for everything. So, you know, we were getting through it with each other. And we were also talking to other business owners. And I said to Princess, you know, we just need to sort of come together, because this money is always being put out there supposedly for us. Yes. Small women business owners. And some of them say they want to help African-American business owners, but it goes into the hands of people who have other agendas, I guess, I don't know. And it's not so easy for us to get it. And I said to her, why don't we just reorganize Women in the Black, because it's a great name. You know, Women in the Black is not about the color black, it's about money, and it's about
being in the black profit in the red.
Yes, right. Yes, a profitable position. I said it's a perfect name. You're already doing it. All we have to do is add this element where we actually go after grants and loans, and we structure them in a way that we know our women needed. So, you know, that was it. And we pulled in an advisory board of about 15 women who all agreed with us. And here we are on our way.
And for full disclosure, I'm one of these people on your advisory board. And
Yes.
for full disclosure also, I been working with Pat as an editor for the entertainment and international news since I moved to Harlem. So that's how we all know each other. And what you are doing and what you put together during this pandemic year, to me, is the example of what they are trying us not to do, and that's unite. When you unite, you are stronger. What the last 4
Yes.
years has been a constant attempt to unifying people and a constant attempt to divide us,
Yes.
to make us weaker. So your example is a fundamental example of what you can succeed and what you can achieve by being together and putting your strength together. And what your paper did during this pandemic, it's amazing, Pat, because you have been really giving the most incredible and exhaustive information about where to get grants, loans, help, this and this, where to go and get the vaccine, where to go and get the tests and so on, to your Harlem community, and actually also to all the other boroughs. But I've seen this growing in a wonderful way. So I'm very thankful that you thought about me to be part of this, because I think what you're doing, it's amazing. And you, Princess, you've been doing the same thing on your side. So now you're putting together two powerful women, Princess as a
Yes.
president and Pat as a vice president, to do what? Tell us exactly what Women in the Black's aim is going to be.
Well, you know, like I said, for the since 1998, we've been about educating women, giving them the tools and the information that they needed to start, build, lead, and grow. But as we move through the Black Lives Matter movement, the social injustice movement, as we begin to look at ourselves as women who are going to leave legacy businesses, what's necessary for that more than anything, Maria, is getting the money.
Yes.
Getting the money. So we have to get the money. We have to be able to lend it in a way that only we understand as women of color. It needs to be patient capital. It needs to be a lot of it so that we can take these businesses, you know, to $1 million businesses, so that we can begin to employ more people in the community, buy property. These are the things that offer us an opportunity to leave a legacy. So we now have a grant writer, and we are looking at raising $3.7 million to put into these lifestyle and legacy businesses, as well as microloans. So we're looking at it on a higher level and a lower level. We don't want to leave anybody out, but we do know that the money needs to be obtained and managed by women of color who understand what our needs are and can be targeted and focused.
So I know that you have special targets, $20,000, $100,000. Tell us a little bit more of the specific of that, and also who is this directed to? Is directed specifically, if I understand well, to business women in Harlem, right?
Yeah, it's micro focused, right? So it's focused on business women in Harlem. When we look at our legacy businesses, we're looking at women who have been in business 7 years plus,
Okay.
and have a minimum amount of annual sales at $250. We feel that if we target those businesses and give them the money so that they can build out either their staff or their infrastructure, that they can easily be lifted to $1 million business. We're also looking at women in the micro loan area. You know, if you need $5,000 to $25,000, sometimes that's the difference between you going in, you know, staying in business or going out of business. So we know that that's important as well. The other thing that I want to say, Maria, is we know that African American women business owners are starting businesses in record numbers. The issue with that is that most businesses are never going to make more than $50,000.
Okay.
And we looked at the whys behind that. You know, the why is they started with low capital. The why is they can't get enough capital. Why is that, you know, they may have credit issues. The why is the bank is not lending. So we have to take all those whys off of the table and replace them with yeses. And we know that with a yes, we can move these African American women businesses forward.
Wonderful. This is an amazing initiative.
And
So,
in addition, Maria, we understand that if a business is to grow, you need to be able to duplicate yourself.
yeah.
You need to be able to hire people who are as talented or more talented than you are. And that takes money. There's no amount of technical assistance that's going to help you hire people. So that takes money. So with the right type of money, we can give the legacy businesses an opportunity to hire the people they need to hire, be able to pay them so that they can stay in the business and help the business grow. And so we know we have capable women in this community that have been able to stay in business with nothing. God knows what we can do with something.
Fantastic. And this is a beautiful result of this terrible year. So we can see at least something positive coming out of this horrible period of time that we all went through. I just wanted to say one thing to our viewers. You see that Princess is in the car, okay? So that's why you're seeing her moving. And that's because as a woman business owner, she has to be also a mother, a woman business owner, and taking care of all the things. So she's right now going to pick up her daughter from college, right?
Right.
So we are always very, very busy. We have to do everything together. So I know that many people who are going to watch us today, they are going to recognize themselves in you, in your busy day. So I am very happy to be part of all this. I'm very grateful that you started what you're doing, because I think you're gonna really fill up a gap that has been there for a long time. And I think your example will be something that will probably be reproduced in other instances. So for this and for your being so longimiranti, as we say in Italian, you're able to looking forward and look at the future and what is the need for the future. I thank you. And I thank you for being my friends too. And I thank you for having been welcomed by you in this amazing community, which is Harlem.
Thank you, Maria.
And this is why I'm doing this show. And yeah, one thing I wanted to say, when you are talking about microcredit, I don't know if you know this, but in my career before, when I was working in European Parliament, in the beginning, I was an interpreter, simultaneous interpreter in international conferences. And one of the most interesting conferences I remember doing was with the International Association of Women Business Owners. And the president at the time was a South African woman who was the one who invented in Soweto the microcredit. She is the one. She owned a few sweatshops, and she started to help women in Soweto to open up other shops by lending them $2, $3, $50, $10. The microcredit was invented by this woman. And men took credit for it, but it's not true. She is the one who invented it. So on this note of greatness in women, like we are, because women are the ones that are really, I think, especially in this age. You have to look at women for resources and for ingenuity and for creating and the creativity that you have shown, even in business. So thank you so much
Oh,
again.
thank you, Maria.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you. And thank you to our viewers. Thank you for being with us. We'll see you next time for another episode of My Harlem Portraits. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye.